Hi, I'm Chris McCoy.
I'm Toby Sells.
And here we are back doing the Memphis Flyer podcast. Every week we jump on here to tell you what's in the paper, what's going on in Memphis and the metro and the world. And today, that's a lot.
That's a lot of stuff.
Toby, what you got for us today?
Gosh, man, what we've got. Now, this is news that nobody knows. It's hot outside.
Yes.
Have you been outside?
I looked outside, and it looked pretty hot.
I would suggest not going out there. Check our Instagram. I've been doing these dumb videos, as maybe y'all know. I don't know if you know or not, but where I just kind of make fun of the weather and I make fun of myself. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, they're also on the YouTube.
YouTube Shorts. I've got two boys, and they that's the only way they consume information is a YouTube short. If it's not on there, they ain't watching it. They don't know about it.
Yeah.
Put math on there. They'll learn it. Yeah. I guarantee.
Accidentally, despite themselves.
That's right.
Yeah. It's on YouTube Shorts. We put it on Instagram, wherever you can, yucky vertical video exists.
Yep.
But it's not yucky. People like it.
It's just a new format. But I'm an old photo guy, so when I see this stuff, I'm like, guys, we got to go landscape. That's just not the way the world works anymore.
Right. Well, and to me, so I'm going to complain as an old guy here, as an old film guy too. Though it's like that vertical video is good for one thing. It's good for me as a face looking at you and talking to you. That's all it's good for. It's not good for anything else because you give no context. You have no peripheral vision.
That's right.
And anyways, I got burned on a music video like this. Somebody tried to do a vertical video, and it was, I won't go into it.
Okay.
It was very frustrating. I shouldn't have even brought it up. Here I am. I'm just making myself mad.
We're just dinosaurs, man.
That's what we do. We just make these dinosaurs mad, old dinosaurs mad.
But we did want to talk about what's in the paper this week, and we want to talk about something that Chris and I and Kaylin Johnson have been doing for a few months now. Kind of the thrust of the podcast today. I wanted to talk to you about how we cover crime. Crime is a big topic in Memphis, maybe one of the biggest issues that we have here. It's kind of the core of maybe our perception problem, maybe even our poverty. A lot of things are connected to crime. What we think about that, even the word crime, is a complicated thing. So about 3 or 4 months ago, with the help of our great financial support of our great leaders at the Contemporary Media, our company, we enrolled in a class from the Poynter Institute. If you don't know what that is, it's like they train journalists. Mm-hmm. I've been to several of their workshops. I did one on covering jails in New Orleans. I've been to several covering healthcare back in the day and things. So if you want to be a better reporter, you go to the Poynter Institute and they're going to help you out. They have a huge team. They know reporters all over the country. They know what works, what doesn't, and they want to help you do it better. So they had a class called Transforming Crime Coverage, Public Safety Reporting is what it is. So the first thing that we really learned here, so we've been going through taking these classes. There's a big class of newspapers and TV stations all over the country, and then we have these smaller classes.
Yeah.
And we're in there with like a paper from Wyoming, a paper in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Tampa, I think.
Tampa is our instructor. Justin Garcia is in Tampa. He's an amazing reporter. He is given, anyway, I won't go into it. But we've had these classes on a lot of different things. Talk about, maybe you can get started talking about the difference in what we've learned about crime versus public safety.
Well, call it public safety, I think is one of them. Because when you talk about crime, we're talking about following the police blotter, like everybody that gets arrested for anything, and running mug shots, or whatever. And the problem with that is, it bleeds, it leads.
Bleeds, it leads.
It goes back to Hearst at least,
mm-hmm.
Meaning that people will click on or read crime stories more readily than they will read just about anything else, because it sort of triggers that like defensive response in you. Like, here's a danger I have to know about. Right. And there's no question that we have too much violent crime, we have too much gun crime, we have too much property crime in this city. That's not a question.
Yeah.
Right? The real question is, how much does it really affect your life?
Yep.
Versus how much do we talk about it?
Oh, yeah.
Like you could say, for example, that healthcare issues affect most people's lives much more directly than crime, And I've been a victim of property crime. I've never, knock on wood, been the victim of a violent crime. Well, not in a long time.
Sure.
And it wasn't partly my fault.
Right.
but you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Right? Yes, we're not saying it's not a problem. We're saying that it needs to be put in the proper context to understand why it's happening and how important it is in our lives.
That's right. And that's really what we want to do is give you the proper context. And part of that is putting crime into that larger public safety context, right? And so public safety is all...
Right, public safety. Thank you. Mm-hmm. You're exactly right. And what's really more dangerous in this, driving on the roads.
Yep.
It's much more dangerous. You are much more likely to die in a road crash than you are to die, to be murdered.
Right.
Just for example.
Right. So, and adverse effects from air quality, adverse effects from the quality of healthcare that you get, like Chris was talking about. All of this is public safety. And so we've pulled back and looking at it now through that lens, that public safety is that anywhere that the government is responsible for the quality of people's lives here in Memphis, that's public safety. It's education. That's a million things, right? The crime stories, like Chris said, we want to check those out. We got to know about the bad guys out there, right? But there's also a level of drama in there. Something weird, bad, crazy TV show thing happened, and we want to know what that is. There was a shooting somewhere, right? But then when I write a story about the air quality index, you are going to go to sleep, okay? But that's really, really important. You're walking outside, you're like, well, it feels weird out here today.
Why can't I breathe?
It feels weird to breathe this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we've been working on a lot of those things, getting down into the nitty gritty of things also about what kind of questions do we ask? How do we put all this in context? And I wrote this week kind of a sidebar to this really great cover story that's coming out in the Flyer this week. It was written by, was it Ole Miss students?
Yes.
They went in and they looked at the Memphis media landscape. How does crime get covered in Memphis? Is it too much? Is it not enough? So great cover story there by these student journalists down there, which is incredible. I wrote a sidebar about what we're doing with Pointer, and do you want to hop in there?
Yeah, well, it was good.
Oh,
sidebar.
Yeah, good. Well, and then basically the sidebar says that, since I've been at the Flyer, which has been many years now, we've collected a kind of a loose set of guidelines and lines we won't cross anymore. So we had this collage of the way that we covered crime in the city.
And I think one thing is that we had never actually sat down and formulated a policy.
That's right.
Basically. And that's one of the things that the Pointer Institute class has really been really helpful on, because they've been like, what questions do we need to ask?
Right.
How do we need to approach it? That's been extremely valuable.
Yes. And one of the things that I say in what I wrote is that leading the way on this, really the way that we're going to do it, because we've been doing it right for a long time.
We've been doing okay.
We've been doing fine. We got into the class and we figured out that we weren't, very far off the mark. And for evidence of that, I pointed to these stories, a couple of stories that Chris wrote about the Memphis Police Department in the wake of the Tyree Nichols police killing. And you look at that, and Chris really gives you the proper context of all of this, right? And ask those critical questions. It's not like, who was arrested or what shooting happened and all that kind of stuff. It really put all of this into a proper context. So with two really powerful stories, Chris really put what happened there into context. And then me, Chris, and Kaylin came back after that with a story that really had a thorough look at that big Department of Justice report that came out about the thing. And some of that was unpleasant to write about.
Yeah.
But again, we were trying to give our readers the proper context.
And I want you to go back and check out that DOJ story. That was from December.
Yep.
We threw it together. Mm-hmm. Because there was virtually no notice when the DOJ report came out, and it came out in mid-December, and I think a lot of people didn't see it. But I think it's really, really important to understand what's going on with the police department and where they can get better, which is almost everywhere.
Yeah.
But y'all were great with that. Throwing that story together was a great experience because we all came together and in like honestly, a couple days.
Yeah, because quick turnaround. I mean, that's what happens on news sometimes. And to blow Chris up a little bit more, man. I mean, film, TV, you've got that covered. You know why Disney movies are weird and superheroes and all that kind of stuff. But Chris is a good reporter, and you really showed your chops with those MPD stories, right? And this was just something that you just wanted to do. You thought it was important
I was not
to do.
given an assignment.
Right.
This is what, and I will always treasure the moment when I had, because I was like, I probably need to tell Anna Travers, our CEO, about this. And when I was like, Anna, I'm writing a story and it's called What's Wrong with the MPD? And just all the color just drained out of her face. It was really, really entertaining to me. But I'm very proud about how those came out. And the reason that I like those stories and why they are relevant to what we're talking about now is that those stories talk about patterns and policy. And rather than, here's another black guy who shot somebody, here's another black guy mugshot, over and over and over again, which we see a lot of the other outlets doing.
Yep.
And I understand why they do it, because they need to eat too.
Sure.
Right? But it's irresponsible, I think, at this late stage of the game.
Yeah.
To continue to do stories like that. And because it puts it out of, I mean, once again, we have a problem with crime.
Right.
We're not saying we don't.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's a lot more to the city than that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more. Yeah, we're probably on track right now to have 300-ish homicides this year.
Yeah.
Which is down, from 23 to 24, it was down 20%. We're going to probably have a similar size drop this year. Still too many.
Right.
Still too many. But there's 1.2 million people in the metro.
Right.
And 300 murders.
Yep.
So the odds are you're not going to get murdered.
Right. And to that point, when we say that other outlets may do it outsized, we can at least point to a 2017 story that we did, which I know sounds like a long time ago, but I don't think things have changed that much. Chris Davis, a former reporter here, kind of gave us an assignment to watch the evening news for a week. And so we would time how much time they spent on crime stories and then everything else, right? Mm-hmm. And so what we figured out was that basically if you watch the 6 o'clock news here in Memphis or 5 o'clock or whatever it is, they're going to spend about half the time showing you crime scenes, showing you mug shots, talking about violent crime. And boy, that's a lot. So if you turn on the Memphis news in the evening, and that's what you're going to see, and that's the perception that you're going to have, right? Mm-hmm. And so when we're seeing all that, and then we can show you stats from the crime commission, it's like it's falling through the floor. Crime is getting way better here. Not falling through the floor, but it's improving a lot.
Right. Yeah.
And we can shout that all day long. People are like, I don't know. I just saw that some guy got shot.
Right.
And you can't deny that. And also, I don't blame the TV stations for running that stuff. It is news. And people need to be aware of their surroundings and all that. It's a fine line. And I'm not saying that I've got all the answers, but as for the Memphis Flyer and how we're going to do it, and we're a lot different than other news outlets, we know how we're going to do it now.
Mm-hmm. And we have different incentives, and we have a different I guess, news cycle,
sure.
I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, one of the things that we have, like I said, is the cover story,
mm-hmm.
which is 2,500 to 3,000 words. Nobody else in the city has that room,
right?
To do that. And believe me, and you know this too, as somebody who's written those cover stories, it can be hard.
It's a lot.
It can be hard to hit that word count and still be interesting the whole time.
Yep.
But also it gives us the luxury and the means to relax, step back, and put this into a larger context.
Absolutely. And that space too, I mean, you just look at our cover of Glorilla last week. I read that thing, and I'm not familiar with her music, or I just knew that she blew up. That's all I knew. And then to go back and read her story, it's insane. And,
yeah.
I mean, you're only going to read that in the Memphis Flyer. And same way that, we're going to cover crime differently also. And our readers are just different. Our readers were very proud of each and every one of you
I don't
out
know
there.
About you. I don't know about you, Toby, but I think we have the best readers in Memphis.
No, absolutely. If you're picking up the Flyer, you want something a little different, and I think we deliver that. But mm-hmm. Enough of all that. But we do have a rock bottom commitment to use this power of the press, this big megaphone that we have, to get it right, to make it make sense, and give you the information to make best decisions that you possibly can. That's our agreement to our readers.
Yeah. So check out that cover story this week in the Flyer. And you can read the Toby's entire statement where we actually have a philosophy now. So it's in print. We can't go back on it. Check that out. Of course, the physical copies, which are in about 300 boxes around town. And speaking of that Glorilla cover story, I have never seen, I cannot remember the last time I saw the physical copies fly off the stand
Absolutely.
like that. Because I go to Cash Saver.
Oh, yeah.
And which is one of our big pickup points. It was that stuff was gone by Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
And there's a stack at Cash Saver like this tall.
Seriously,
It's huge.
It's the biggest stack in the city.
That's cool.
And it was gone. It was gone by Saturday. But anyways, so check out that cover story, of course. This week, there's lots more in the paper too. That's not so serious. I saw the Fantastic Four movie, Fantastic Four: First Steps.
Was it fantastic?
It was okay.
Oh, no.
That's the thing. These movies, the Marvel movies,
They're fine.
They're fine, and that's a problem. We're blowing $200 million on stuff that is just adequate entertainment product.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, it looked a lot better than the Captain America movie earlier this year, which looked like hot garbage.
Oh, no.
Oh man, I've heard people. I had somebody, because I commented on how bad it looked, and then I had somebody tell me like they were on a flight, and the person next to him was watching the Captain America movie, and they happened to look over the climax of the Captain America movie. That last Captain America movie was a fight between the Red Hulk and Captain America on the cherry blossoms in D.C.
Oh, yeah.
Which sounds like a good idea, right?
Yeah, that's
There's
rad.
looked awful. And they were like, God, that looked like garbage.
Oh,
it was
no.
terrible. So it does look better because it's sort of a period piece. It's technically set on Earth 828,
Okay.
which is a parallel plane, but it looks like, the Fantastic Four were began November 1961.
Okay.
So that's why they're astronauts.
Oh,
Too.
okay.
We're like, that was they're astronauts, they're space explorers, and they're a family too, as well. So the design looks like that original Kirby design. So it's like this civilization they have like faster than light spaceships, but they don't have HD TV. Everything is tubes.
It's all tubes.
And,
you like physical switches and things, I'm sure.
Right, yeah. And another old guy, I miss physical switches, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, well, but hey, you can read McCoy's great look at the Fantastic Four movie and go see it this weekend. I'm sure it's playing Malco all over the place.
Oh, it's everywhere. It made like $250 million in 4 days, so
Wow.
it's going to be around for a while.
I made $250 million in 4 days one time. That's another story.
Then I woke up.
We've got a great calendar this week. If you're bored out there, like we say, it's your fault. It's a great cover. We've got news, we've got politics, we've got opinion in there. We've got a ton of stuff that you're not going to read anywhere else in the old Memphis Flyer. Go to one of our boxes, pick it up. Or if you can't wait, just head on over to memphisflyer.com and you can read it all right there.
Yeah. And, check out our new weatherman here, who's the shorts. He's telling you about the weather.
And it's great. And I put a raw egg in my mouth. You'll just have to see what I mean. It's gross.
Yeah, Rocky, like, wouldn't do that, but I wouldn't do that for news. But this man will do it. We'll do it for news/comedy. Comedy news.
News.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks, y'all. This has been the Memphis Flyer podcast. We'll see you next week.
See ya.